Anthony Noto buys more shares of SoFi. Oh, this is going to be a great video. If you are a SoFi shareholder, let me know down below if you are a SoFi bro or a SoFi sister. Would love to hear from you all. I have a massive position in SoFi. And I'm also a raging SoFi bull, not to mention I'm a little tired right now, so please bear with me. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully you all are doing great, and welcome back for a brand new video. Today we're going to be covering primarily SoFi. I did actually sell out of a position on my YouTube channel public profile, which I'll get to momentarily. And I did buy more stock, and one of the stock that I did buy was, of course, SoFi. I'm going to go ahead and explain why I did that. Going to go through my pretty much YouTube channel public profile that I'm building on this YouTube channel. I'm also going to be talking about where I see SoFi going over the next week and a half, because we have a lot going on with the new Fed governor stepping in on deck. Not to mention, if you enjoy my videos, make sure to drop a like button and subscribe for more if you want to see me on a daily basis. Put out videos Monday through Friday here. The Friday video that I made, so this filing came out actually after hours. I tend to put out videos relatively early. It is 11:32 a.m. right now for me. Like I said, I'm a little sluggish. I had a brutal migraine yesterday. Not the best Sunday, so I'm on a post hangover migraine state. For anyone out there who's had a terrible migraine before, you know the next day is pretty much like hangover migraine, ironically hangover Monday, kind of in a way. So let's dive right into it. Anthony Noto bought $250,000 worth of SoFi shares on the open market. Now, he has bought recently in the last couple months here a lot of shares. Oh, yes, and by the way, if you are new here, like I said, again, this YouTube channel is relatively new. I've been putting out tremendous amount of videos in the last 6 months on here, and also building a public profile, which I'll get to momentarily. My other YouTube channels are gaming channels, NightmareRH, and I also have another one, NightmareRH on RS. One has 200,000 plus subscribers. The other is close to 70,000. Going to be advertising this YouTube channel probably in the next couple weeks. So if you are a active viewer of mine on this channel, just dedicated to the stock market, you're going to be seeing probably a bunch of stock-loving baboons come over here. There are a bunch of non-stock-loving baboons too. Water cheers. The stock market's not for everyone. It is a wild roller coaster that you have to endure. And you gotta be in the market continuously. You can't be leaving the market. I've been in the market now since March 2020, and I've made life-changing money by being in the market. There's going to be tough times in the market, and we have gone through tough times in the last 5 months. My daily viewers on this channel has also gone down because a lot of people just don't want anything to do with the market. But what do you notice in the last couple of months? The CEO, Anthony Noto, has been buying. What have I been doing the last couple months? Even with a massive SoFi position on my private account and also public account. I'm holding over 2,200 total shares of SoFi. Actually, I think it might be closer to like 2,300 now. And I'm continuously adding them. One of the reasons I bought more SoFi today is because, well, our fearless leader, he bought shares on Friday. Kind of really wish I saw the filing, but I ended up seeing it on Saturday. I was actually relatively busy on Friday night, so I ended up missing this. But yeah, I mean, Anthony Noto bought 200,000, 250K worth of shares. Is that bad? Is it good? It's extremely bullish, and he did it on the open market. It's not like he was awarded shares. Very big difference, okay? I've been in companies where the CEO has been awarded shares, and then he or she ends up selling them. Actually, no, never had a she that ended up selling them. 2023, I was in the penny stock market. The 1 year that I was actually red in the market, meaning I was negative on my annual filings. I didn't owe any money that year because I didn't make any profits. I was actually invested in the penny stock market. Not the brightest thing to do, but a lot of people do well. I ended up getting murdered because I chose to take long positions where CEOs would get shares awarded to them and sell. Anthony Noto is doing the opposite. Anthony Noto is buying shares with his own money. So that's extremely bullish. Okay, so Oracle. I want to talk about Oracle stock. So I want to go ahead and show my public profile on this YouTube channel. I'm doing a profile challenge, a risk-on profile challenge, taking this sum of money to 6 figures in the course of 17 months, baby. The account challenge started 2 January of this year, and I also have a bunch of rules, such as how much I'm allowed to deposit during a certain amount of time. And I've just been adding SoFi shares tremendously. If you watch my videos, I want to say about a month and a half ago, I think it was the end of March, this profile was down over 17%. And in a blink of an eye, well, AMD is over 100 bucks. AMD is over 100%. Definitely over 100 bucks. I was buying shares of AMD below 200, above 200. I got some nasty comments several months ago about AMD saying it's a nothing stock. No, it's definitely not a nothing stock. This stock is going to go bananas. AMD on this profile has now surpassed $20,000. The first one of these positions to do that. SoFi actually was at one time above 10,000, so above 5 figures. But the thing about SoFi is that 6 months ago, my SoFi position was up well beyond 120%. But my total cost of SoFi was only $4,900. So in the last 6 months, I have nearly almost doubled my position size on SoFi, and I'm adding more shares as well. So what stock did I end up selling, and also bought? So, Oracle. I ended up selling out of Oracle, entirely. And I ended up buying ServiceNow. I ended up buying 3 shares of ServiceNow. And then I bought a total of I think it was like 20. You know, I honestly should have chosen a different brokerage to do a public profile. Webull pisses me off. Webull is phenomenal for day trading and also 4 a.m. trading as well too, but I should have just made another Robinhood account. My private account is on Robinhood. Absolutely love Robinhood's brokerage. Hopefully Webull doesn't. Actually, no, I want Webull to see this. I believe total, it doesn't really matter. I bought close to $500 worth of SoFi shares today. Why did I do that? 2 reasons. One is because Anthony Noto bought, and 2 is because I was looking at Oracle. And so the thing about Oracle is that I started building a position of Oracle literally at the bottom. This doesn't happen very often, okay? My philosophy as a trader and also investor is you're never going to buy the bottom. You're never going to sell the top. I started buying Oracle, ironically, at the friggin' bottom. And the stock literally just completely just went higher. I literally got my first set of shares. I believe it was 09 April. And from here, it's just been on a cruise. So I was up over 40% on a small amount of shares. And my game plan with Oracle was to build a position size anywhere between maybe, I want to say, maybe $2,000 to $3,000 worth. But honestly, I mean, I literally started buying Oracle when it was at the end of its downward cycle. Hypothetically, if I bought Oracle, let's say back in February, I would have bought at the same level that I did back in beginning April. And then I would have probably accumulated a lot more shares throughout February, throughout March and April. I probably would have ended up with maybe a maybe $2,500, maybe $3,000 position size. But here's the realistical thing. My game plan with Oracle was that I saw a double up potential, but as for a very much long term, there's a lot more risk. There's less risk being in AMD than Oracle because of the debt that Oracle has. Even though the management team has said, hey, we've taken out a tremendous amount of debt, we're not going to be taking out any more, and we're going to scale. And that's the reason why Oracle basically pretty much soared, because of OpenAI enthusiasm. Oracle soared back in September because of OpenAI. And then investors basically pretty much learned, hey, there's a lot of debt around this company. So the real argument around Oracle is, hey, is the company going to pretty much be able to handle this debt and soar? Do I personally believe they will be able to do that? Call me crazy, I really do. But why did I sell out of it? Because I see my money being very much doubled quicker in SoFi and ServiceNow. Yes, I do see ServiceNow tremendously making a gigantic comeback in the second half of this year. And as for SoFi, I really believe that this SoFi run is going to be kicking off very near around the Fed governor. I think the catalyst is going to be around the Fed governor coming on deck, because the market right now is pricing 0 rate cuts. And I think this Fed governor is going to surprise a lot of people and be like, no. We are not looking to make interest rates go down to 0. That's unrealistical. But we're going to put back on the rate cuts for 2026, which is 2 rate cuts. If we just get 1 rate cut, the guidance for SoFi changes, okay? The whole reason why the market threw a hissy fit around SoFi is because their guidance didn't change. And their guidance didn't change because the rate cuts went away for this year. So therefore, if the rate cuts come back, which is just 25 basis, let's cut the bullshit. A quarter basis point rate cut 2 times, so a total of 0.5% of rate cuts for 1 year is not going to make a gigantic friggin' difference, okay? You got to do your own research and due diligence. They are like so small of rate cuts, it's not even funny. If the Federal Reserve came out and did a 1 basis point rate cut in 1 meeting, that would make a difference, okay? 25% here, couple months later, 25% here. Those rate cuts aren't going to show until 9, 12, maybe even as far as 16 months out. Okay, they're so tiny. That's what she said. They're so friggin' tiny, but it's true. Okay, so as for SoFi, I see a tremendous amount of rally coming to the $25 range. And if we just look with just $25 of where SoFi is right now, you're talking 53% of upside. Now, going back to Oracle very quickly, keep this simple, okay? Obviously, my position in Oracle was only about, like, I believe, $500. But let's go ahead and say that you threw in $1,000 into Oracle, and it went up by 40% in a matter of, let's say, maybe a month or so. $400. Now, let's say you throw in 5,000. Okay, obviously 5,000, 40%, that's close to about 2,000, give or take. 10,000, keep the numbers back to simple, $4,000 in like a month or so, right? Higher and higher and higher. Things move very, very quickly, especially when there is recovery. Why did Oracle move very, very quickly? Because the chips started to really recover back around the first week of April, okay? And one of the reasons why is because the demand for capital expenditures, the demand for Amazon, Google, Meta spending money, okay? They're spending a tremendous amount of money, and hardware is going to benefit. Hold on. Water cheers. SoFi. SoFi is another one that can move 40% in a snap of it very quickly. Very, very quickly. Probably, honestly, even more quicker than maybe Oracle can move. So keep it simple. $1,000 at these levels, you're talking about a 56% upside. We'll just do the friggin' math. Okay, $25 is a very key level. Why did we fall off from $25? Because the stock market priced out rate cuts. Oh, that's how the stock market works. Okay? We priced out rate cuts in January because the Federal Reserve came out with their meeting end of January. All this was because of the rate cuts being priced out. All this is because of monetary policy. Okay? A lot of it too around Iran and oil and stuff. But the market is very much looking at oil and Iran as going to be very much wrapped up. Now the market has very much recovered because of Iran, but SoFi is lagging. Why is that? Because the Federal Reserve and the rate cuts. So I'm very bullish on SoFi, and I really am being aggressive here and adding to my SoFi overall position because I see a phenomenal rally coming very soon. And guess what? I'm a long-term shareholder in SoFi, so if I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. I'm not gambling with options or doing anything like that. If I'm wrong about SoFi rallying because of the new Fed governor, or let's say the new Fed governor comes on deck and the new Fed governor ends up saying, yeah, we're not going to do any rate cuts this year. Okay, SoFi is going to be trading below $20 probably for a while. I'm going to be adding more shares. Also, I have to address this because I did get a couple comments on a couple videos ago about AMD. I talked about this a little bit. So AMD has now taken over this profile with 40%, 41.87%. A lot of investors, let alone traders, have this mentality of not more than 10 to 15% into one position. That's honestly really bullshit. You can very much have half of your profile. You can have 40%. You can have 30%. You can have it be at whatever level of risk you want. It's pretty funny because there are people that will put a lot of their money into indexes like the SPY, the Qs, the IWM. If you are one of those people, hey, more power to you. Nothing wrong with that. But understand that if 40% of your money is in the SPY, 40% of your money is in one area. Even though it's an index, and yes, an index is not going to get obliterated very quickly unless it's a COVID, Liberation Day, dot-com bubble, 2007 financial crisis, etc., right? But at the end of the day, if you are owning indexes, your money is still in a large position. It's called appetite for risk. AMD is on a growth cycle, so therefore it's very different. I'll say this though, if I had 40% of this profile in SoFi, that would be a little bit over leverage because right now SoFi is up and to the right on their earnings, but at the same time, the growth cycle for this stock has not really so much happened yet. AMD, by the end of this year, AMD could be $700+. At that point, I got to really look at some forward-looking thinking because obviously AMD is moving very quick, and maybe I may take some shares off the table, take some profits. At that point, at that point, my AMD position would be 40,000, and you're talking AMD stock price of well beyond $700. So I may have to go ahead and take some shares of profits from then, okay? But at the same time, like I said, you make your own risk on appetite for your profile. Nothing is set in stone, okay? You decide what is your level of risk, and you decide if you can sleep at night. I sleep like a baby. Even with a post-migraine effects, I still sleep pretty good. But otherwise, as for today, I'm feeling really good adding shares to SoFi here. Adding shares to ServiceNow. I'm going to be buying ServiceNow over the next several months. I don't really think software is going to do anything probably until maybe even the last quarter of this year, just because it is so much lagging. And Adobe just continues to not get any love whatsoever. Adobe, my position, I feel very good. I got to bring up my service now position significantly. But let me know down below in the comment section. Like I said, if you are a SoFi bro or SoFi sister, let me know if you think SoFi is going to rally with the new Fed governor coming on deck, or if you think the new Fed governor is going to be a hawk for SoFi. I think the new Fed governor is going to be bullish like we can't imagine. A lot of good things I believe is coming. Stay motivated. Always do your due diligence. And I will see you all tomorrow for a brand new video for Taco Tuesday. Later.